Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Brian Nano. Main track today is muddy. We're starting the day muddy. That's right. I just wanted to say we have no turf racing this afternoon. We've had some rain. We were on the turf till about 8:30 this morning thereabouts, and then the skies opened up.
It was not pretty on the way down here, and yeah, it is what it is. As your telltale puddles on the ground kind of thing, and by the railroad tracks. They were all over there.
That's my judge thing. I'm going to go out one time with like a measure. If it's 2 inches, I know we're off the turf. That's it. Well, let's hope we're back on tomorrow because I think the rain is done. But with that said, we got an 8-race card this afternoon, and we got the Rainbow Six, which starts in race number 3 and $500,000 jackpot guarantee gross pool. So 500 grand is up for grabs. It doesn't matter what the surface is. You just got a handicap for it. Maybe you can bring it down this afternoon. So had a couple of really nice turf races this afternoon. Didn't have that many scratches. That's the beauty of having the all-weather Tapeta. Of course, you don't lose that many horses. So first race today, we'll get into it, was originally scheduled for the grass. Now about 1.16 miles on the Tapeta surface. Claimers, fillies, and mares 4 and up. Non-winners of 3 in life. 20 down to 16. And as I mentioned, not a scratch in the race with the surface switch. How's your ticket?
Yeah, we'll take a look at it here. And I switched up in this race. Normally I don't do that, but I did, and we'll talk about that. It's a $45 play, down from 54 originally. 4-5 in race 2, the reverse order. 3-6-7 in the third with Oakhurst on top. There's the single, my best bet of the day, Luddington. We'll show that replay coming up. In the 5th race, completely got turned upside down for me at least. It's a deep spread. My long shot is still in there. Sunatra got that one on top. But I think the fact, Ronnie, and take note, folks, that the 13 and 14 are drawing in and running, I think that really changes things.
Yeah, it changes things. So it's certainly a work in progress. In this first race here, I still kept a course that's currently 2-1 on the board, Frankie's Girl, who's dropping to the 20 level on the Tapeta today, stretching out to 1.16 miles. Had a trouble trip last time out against those 35 condition claimers. She was steady going into the first turn, parked wide in the stretch, finished 6th, was going that mile, albeit it was on the grass for Robert Moscow, and you're getting Sean Bridgman in the saddle again. And it's basically the drop and hoping this horse gets a clean trip.
I had this horse on top on turf. Can we run this horse one turn in the right spot on dirt, please? I've been begging for that. In her last 2 starts, she hasn't done it. The race 3 back was absolutely awesome, and what was her dirt debut? Stretched her out and ran her over her head. Now she's 2 turns on the Tapeta. I thought she ran well last time too, Ron. She's a player in here. I just thought this race coming off the turf, moving to the Tapeta, I went with a different way.
Yeah, you went with the number 7 Penati. That's Jennifer. I think it's Jennifer's horse. Yeah, Jennifer Young's horse comes off a win on the all-weather.
A really strong win too, and you know that was the second start on the Tapeta here. You know, since the championship meet started at least, and this Daughter of Violence is accustomed to it. I thought she ran very, very well last time, and I think that stamps her, if not the horse to beat, definitely right in the mix with the surface switch.
The number 5, Map 'em Up, was sent out after rallying to finish 2nd against those 16 condition claimers. Was going a mile on the Tampa turf. Tim Hill's the trainer. Angel Arroyo named to ride this afternoon. I was going to show this race earlier today. Was on the turf up at Tampa. I thought the horse ran a bang-up race there. You know, you had to fight throughout the stretch to be 2nd. You know, and we're still, as I mentioned, we're a work in progress. The thought is that if they run well on the turf, they're supposed to translate that, or hope that they translate it to the all-weather surface. So I'm keeping Mapping Up on my ticket.
Yeah, I agree. And Tim got a win the other day. It was good to see. And I listen, I embody that thought process too. If you run well on the turf, you should be able to handle it. It remains to be seen. Map 'em up. So you're going to get square price on this one.
Yeah, and number 8, Divine Exchange, who you have in 2nd, is dropping into this level, turning back to this distance after chasing the pace, finished at this in 3rd. This was the one that was 1.5 miles on the all-weather surface.
Yeah, Mezcal was a short price and forgot to stop that day. And don't forget, obviously, as Ronnie alluded to, when you see that off the turf, don't forget, that's going to the Tapeta. So we have plenty of experience here. Luis Saez from a nice outside attack post.
Yeah, trained by Blake Kelly, as you mentioned. Luis Saez, of course, our leading rider. We'll update you on all those things a little later on in the lightning round. Let's go to the 2nd race. Now, this one was on the Tapeta and is still on the Tapeta. It's about 5 furlongs. These are fillies and mares, 4 and up, started for 40 or less. We did have a scratch in here of the number 7 horse, and we both have the number 5, Silver Cloud, on top of our ticket.
Yeah, Danny Gargan off the claim, and Luis Saez lands here, and Danny just does such a great job of everything. A very, very high percentage barn. He does well on the synthetics. It's a small number, but he's 36%. That's 5 for 14. And I just think, Ron, no disrespect to Mac Robertson, but Danny does such a good job with new acquisitions. Here's one here from the right outside post, and Sai has a board says, it's go time. Here we've got the stat here. Oh. Good work, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. 38%, so 4 for 12 on the Gulfstream to Pete, and the Dan side, here's Monarchos, a B+ from Jim Mazur's Progressive Handicapping. There's a lot to like about Silver Cloud.
Yeah, Jim Mazur has his, like you said, the SI ratings, and it helps out when we're still trying to figure out how this DePita runs. Good stat there. The number 4 headline hunter is breaking from an improved post after departing from the outside. Well, let's go back and show you this horse's last stretch run. This one went up and duel for the lead. You're going to see it turning for home headline hunter. And I just thought it was a good performance, going 5 furlongs on the DePita. Jose D'Angelo, Javier Castellano named to ride. And basically, when you can run that well from a post out there, and you can see the number 11 during the stretch run, I thought it was a pretty game performance.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Hall of Famer. And just came, a win. The horse on the inside just would not give up, so you'll see how that runs. And when you break from post 11 and now breaking from post 4 today, I sort of like that angle.
Yeah, and Jose's just doing everything right at the championship meet, and this is clearly the horse to beat here off that effort.
We have the same super today.
A little scary.
Code name Lise. I think it's Lisi.
Yeah, Lisi.
Then moves to Safi's barn. It's Safi Joseph Jr. I'm alluding to the leading trainer. After the claim, just got edged at the wire when beating the nose against 25, 2 lifetime claimers. Going 5 furlongs on this all-weather surface. New claims, they're good. Tyler Gaffney, he's real good. Figures.
Yeah, I think she's got to get up to the top 2, though. And Safi does such a good job off the claim. It's tough to improve off Mike Maker. I think this one might be just a little slow on paper. To me, cut below the top 2.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'll have my Rainbow 6 ticket. I was going to say don't turn the dials, but now I realize no one older than 30 knows what dials are. So we'll be right back.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Ground ball first inside. Race. And a quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 yards out. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron and Brian, about a mile 70 yards on the DePita Maiden Special Weight Fillies 3-year-olds. And I meant no one under 30 knows what a dial is, not over 30. We're all over 30, I think, at least in my world. So getting back, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's get to my Rainbow 6 situation. Let me get out of this mess I dug myself into. 3 deep in here, with Ojale, Oakhurst, who I know you like it this afternoon, and Adeli, who's the Irish bred, Adil, who's the Irish bred in there. So 3 deep in there, 2 deep in race number 4 with Tune In, who's the number 5 in Ludington off that trouble trip last time out. Race number 5 originally scheduled for the turf to be run on the all-weather. I kept Strong Embrace on top, but Mia Camille, a tough trip last time out in the stretch, and School Dance might take all the money in there. Race number 6, Back At Ya, and Rayo, Colorado. I think those are the logical 2 in there. Race number 7, Man on the Moon, Tis Ride Time. Wanted to use Gump, but I didn't want to go that deep this afternoon. And I really like the 2-horse Buenissimo in the nightcap. Also used the 1 and the number 7 horse in race number 8. $43.20 for me. $500,000 jackpot guarantee, gross jackpot guarantee pool. So getting back to this 3rd race, I've been, as Brian mentioned when we were off there, I've been trying to get this horse. I had picked Saturday as my long shot or best bet, one of those, on Saturday on the main track, and now going to the DePita this afternoon. There was going turf to dirt. And Ojale is debuting locally on the Tapeta after dueling for lead and fading against special weight competition. And that was going a mile in the 16th on the Tampa turf. Check this stat out real quick with Jonathan Thomas. He's 5 for 9. 56% with the turf to all-weather surface angle. Jose Ortiz handling the surface switch this afternoon.
Jonathan is just potent basically with everything he does. And then you mentioned that one there. This is the third foal out of the dam, and she's a half to Fluffy Socks, who's a multiple graded stakes winner on the turf for Chad Brown. But again, it's back to, what we talked about earlier. If you handle the turf, you can handle the Tapeta, and that stat obviously plays. I like the fact that she dueled really basically for the entire way on debut and didn't chuck it that badly either.
And you have it on. You took a little further down, but
Absolutely.
you didn't have number 7 Oakhurst, who's given it to Peter a try after rallying to finish 4th here. That was that fruitful special weight outing on the turf that produced a trio of next out winners from 6 starters.
Yeah.
So it was a good race.
Yeah, and she was, my notes say she was wide off the far turn and whacked off stride too. So I thought it was even a little better than it looked. Chad's, 5 for 14 on the synthetic. So there's plenty to like here. You see it there. Nice work, guys. Thank you. With a 181 ROI, 36%. So he's doing good work on this Tapeta surface as well.
And the number 6 horse in here, Adelaide, the Irish bred, was sent south by trainer Christophe Clement after finishing in a dead heat for second going. That was a mile on the Tampa turf. It's the daughter of Adelaide, gets first-time Lasix, second-time blinkers. Tyler Gaffleone hops aboard. So we'll see how that horse runs this afternoon.
Yes, she's got some pedigree too. Half to $448,000 earner that won a couple of graded stakes as well.
I think you had a stat, too, for, was that for, on the number 8 horse?
I did,
here,
yeah.
I believe.
The only time, and this is, we've probably shown this a lot, not
Yeah.
this time is at the top of the list. I think Distorted Humor gets an A, but not this time gets an A+ from Jim's Progressive Handicapping. And, it's just another tool in the bag. And we saw one pop at like $28 earlier in the meet. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to know. And it's, as we learn about these different surfaces, of course, we never had that this surface here in Florida, learning each and every day. And there's some trainers, David Forks to come to mind right now, who's just unbelievably good job on it. Let's go to race number 4. This one's a 1 mile starter allowance, 4-year-olds and up starter for $25,000 or less. At the top of the show, we mentioned, we'll see when we get to post time what the track will be listed. But when we started this show, it was listed as muddy.
Yeah, and we do think the rain's done. So that's a positive.
Oh,
and
definitely.
hopefully we dry out here. Here's the ticket, singled right off the rip with Ludington. We'll show the replay. Nightmare trip last time. Probably was best with just a brutal trip. The deep spread is in race 5, and this race really, for me, got totally whacked around on the surface switch. Swoonatra, though, with that being said, is still my top pick. Is still my long shot play of the day. I'm hoping this one gets loose. Take note, the 13 and the 14 do draw in, and I think that has a big, big say. You mentioned Back At You in Rayo, Colorado. I didn't want to use them both and double the ticket. I went with Back At You being outside Rayo, Colorado. I'd like to think if you're using both of them, though, you'll get through. 5, 6, 7 in race 7. I've got Rebelde on top. You mentioned Man on the Moon and certainly Tis Rye Time. I mean, those are the 3 in there. And then in the Get Out race, in the finale, Wicked Finn for me on top for Cheryl Weinbaugh. We saw her win a couple races, maybe last week or the week before, doing very, very good work. I liked the tightener last time. I like the stretch out here, second off the layoff at a bit of a price. 7-2-1 is the order and the finale on that $22.50 ticket.
Well, 4th race, 1 mile, starter allowance, 4 and up, start for 25 or less. Take it away with Ludington.
Yeah, you're going to see him down inside making a run here, entering the far turn, and it just didn't work out. Here he is chasing her, number 8 down inside. 9-1 this day, too. And it's just not going to be very pretty for him. He's got nowhere to go here, and it's just going to get worse. And obviously, Corey Lannery's got plenty of run here, and he's got no seam. He's just biding his time down inside, and I don't know if the horse didn't want to stick up through there or what, but now he's going to get sawed off exiting the turn here. It's really more in deep stretch, and nothing went right for Ludington, and he had to, here he is basically idling. He hasn't even checked yet. And he's going to have to come back and loop him because it just didn't work out down inside right here. And he's going to have to watch all 3 of these horses get first run on him. And He still runs on late. He ends up getting second. I mean, you could argue he wasn't going to beat Oriental Trigger. That's neither here nor there to me. It's just he had such trouble in that race. And the other thing I wonder too today, Ron, is especially off that trip and Corey Lannery's back, he could be the speed in here. There's not a lot of speed in this race on paper. And I wonder if Corey just says, you know what? I'm on a good horse. We're going today. I don't want to have to worry about any trouble today. Let's go. I'd love to see that trip in here.
Going to be interesting to see how it plays out, trained by Peter Wilder. I did go with the number 5, Tune In, who's turning back to one of his most accomplished distances. 7 races at the distance with 4 wins in the third. First start since that Stalk and Fade outing. That was in the 9 furlong, claiming Crown Jewel. Diane Marici, she's pretty solid with this layoff, 23%. And she has this 6-year-old firing bullets for the return. And I remember it back in the claiming Crown Jewel, she came up to me and said, how can my horse not be favored in here? This horse, she was high on it. So coming back, I think it's a good spot. More importantly, I like the mile today.
Well, that's the thing to me, the mile, because if you remember, I'm sure you do, that Jewel Racer, every horse in that race had never won to go in 9 furlongs, so we didn't know what to make of them. Well, I think we know now. Tune In is not going to see it out going 2 turns. The cut back today to 1 turn, perfectly drawn. He can be outside of Ludington. If Ludington doesn't go, maybe Leonel Reyes takes the initiative. He goes. Regardless, this is the right trip and the right post for this horse, and he takes all the beating in here.
The number 1, I'm a G6, a 4-time winner, also at this mile distance, stretches out. First outing since finishing that wide 5th. That was in the 7 furlong, claiming Crown Rapid Transit. Orby Mirage keeps it a family affair. He's got Romero Mirage, and I think the stretch out's going to help this horse too.
I agree, and he was very, very pace compromised last time in a race where everybody close early stayed there late. The problem is today, I wonder if it happens again today for Ama G6, because as I mentioned, there isn't a lot of speed in here, but I do think he's a major player, as you alluded to. He's got 4 wins at this trip.
Let's go to race number 5 this afternoon, and this is 1 mile and 1/16, originally scheduled for the grass to be run on the all-weather Tapeta surface. These are maiden optional claimant fillies, 3-year-olds, $50,000, and we had the scratch of the 6, the 7, the 9, the 12, 15, and 16. And the reason I mention it because 13 and 14, who Brian have prominently placed on his ticket, are getting in and running this afternoon. I kept it with the number 10 Strong Embrace, who's debuting locally on this all-weather surface today after crossing the wire first before being disqualified and placed 5th when facing 32 maidens, going a mile on the Tampa turf for Kathleen O'Connell, adds Lasix, Jose Ortiz. One of my angles that I like, if a horse has done something that no one else in the race has done, albeit, got disqualified, this one, at least in my mind, knows how to win. Now the horse has to prove it can run on the all-weather surface.
Well, that's the thing for this Daughter of Strong Mandate, who I had initially had 4th on the turf. Kathleen's doing such a good job at the championship meet, and the fact that she brings this one in from Tampa for 32, now going to run for 50 and reach out for Jose Ortiz, I think it's very, very significant. With that being said, I think the scratches and the move to the Tapeta move a few others up. I probably should have used this horse, quite frankly, in my late pick 5, but I wanted to keep it a little bit tighter with some question marks. But I do think, if she can keep her mind on business, she's a player in here. She might have to improve a little bit, though, but you've got ace connections in this corner.
Well, you got your long shot in here. That is the number 4, Swunatra, and this one ran okay on the Tapeta last time.
I thought she did run okay, and it's a race that fell apart late, and she was the only one close early to stick around late. And I hope that Miguel Vasquez will put her on the engine, because I don't see a lot of other speed in here. She ran very, very well close last time, and I think especially being inside some other horses in here, she can get to the front in here. Maybe she gets brave. Maybe she gets to stop. She's playing the Tapeta game with some turf horses that are playing her thing, today. Maybe at a nice price she can, like I said, get brave and forget to stop.
Well, the horse I have in second is the number 11, Mia Camilla, who had a rough outing last time out on the all-weather surface. We're going to go back and show you this one where she just gets carried out badly. You're going to see her on the outside, and just watch as she turns for home here on the all-weather surface. She just really gets, sent out by the popcorn stand. Really no chance there. So you can see it. She just had no chance to run. And she finished 4th. She was placed 3rd, but look, she was still getting bothered through the stretch run. I don't know if she beats the horse. Well, the inside horses had the perfect trip. Of course, she, like I said, she was held outside. Jose D'Angelo has just been doing a great job. Tyler Gaffalione in the saddle. I think with a clean trip, this horse is right there.
100% agree with you. She was basically wrapped up there because she kept, she was getting the business there the entire length of the stretch. I had her 9 wide on the far turn. And yeah, I think there's a lot of reason to like Mia Camellia, Jose, Tyler Gaffalione. It's just all right there. Post could be a little problematic. Again, I'll tell you one thing, she's not going to be as wide as she was last time.
Well, if she was a little wider than that, she'd be right here by us over here. So now, why did you throw the 14-13 in? You just figured.
I mean, look at the form. They're made in special weight droppers. It's Graham Motion and IRAD on the outside. Who needs a jockey? Is it the 14 or is it the 3? Because Paco's named on both. When we went on the air, we didn't have the assignment. We'll keep you updated on that. But just both of them, to me, hit hard here on the drops.
You know, the number 3 School Dance responded to both the addition of Lasix in the stretch out around 2 turns with a well-meant second-place finish against this level of competition. That was going a mile and 70 on the all-weather to Peter Joe Orsino. I don't know if Paco's riding the 3 or the 13. We'll find out. Peter will be on right after we're done. He can get you all updated on all those scratches and jockey changes. But I thought School Dance had a big chance. And, you know, that's what this beauty of this race is with going from Earth to the Peter. There's so many different ways you can go. So a wide open 5th race. Let's go to the 6th race this afternoon. And this one is 5.5 furlongs on the main track. Claim is 3 and up, 12-5. And the back at you, was that your single?
That was my single. I don't want to say it's a match race, but back at you in Rayo, Colorado, tower over the rest of this field, I think.
Yeah, you know, back at you, a sharp winner at this level on the dirt. 2 starts back, goes back to the main today. Finished third against those 35 claimers. That's going 5 on the all-weather surface. Trainer Gerald Brooks, Tyler handling the surface switch. And Rayo, Colorado, wheels back. Finished second between, you know, that horse last, you know, right near that horse last time out. I thought those were the logical ones.
I agree, and I think Pete got this right. I do think back at you should be favored and will be favored off those 2 dirt races. You can be forgiving against much better on the Tapeta last time. And I really like the fact that back at you is outside Rayo, Colorado. It's a huge, huge edge.
The number 6 Oriental Park is dropping with Lasix after the third against those 20 claimers going 6. I think the turn back to 5.5 furlongs is going to help this horse this afternoon.
Yeah, and I will say this. Now, Rayo, Colorado and back at you, they're going to go early. Maybe if they get a little hot and bothered up front, maybe it sets it up for someone like Oriental Park who's shown an affinity to pass some horses in the lane.
Let's go to race number 7 this afternoon. This is a 1 mile starter allowance, 4 and up, started for $40,000 or less, and no scratches or jockey changes in here. You went with the number 7 horse, and that is Rebelde.
Yeah, I think we got a stat for Rohan Crichton, too. It was just so sharp off the claim, and it just is what it is, what you see there. 7 for 22, 32%, 222 ROI, first off the claim at GP the past year. And Rebelde won last time, and I just wonder, Ronnie, maybe this is the right fresh new face, too. He claims him for 12.5, doesn't want to risk him for a tag, and says, hey, Irad, you want to ride? We're really live here, and I like being outside the 2 horses to beat. Tis Right Time, Man on the Moon. Maybe he's still got to move forward for Rohan. As I said, you know, he does such a good job. Rebelde maybe gets a little overlooked, too, on the class rise.
The number 5 Man on the Moon is wheeling back after stalking the pace, finished second, same level in distance last time out. The gelding should sit another perfect stalking trip. I see a field here that's got some speed in it. And, you know, a lot of horses are need-to-lead types in here. Bob Hess Jr., Louis Saez in the saddle again. To me, it was all about the trip.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be a lot of speed in here.
And he's going to get first run off that speed, absolutely, over a horse like Rebelde and over a horse like Tis Right Time.
Yeah, and Tis Right Time, you know, looking to make amends after finishing a wide 5th, was the odds-on choice that afternoon behind Man on the Moon last out for a Safi. Tyler Gaffalione, rematch today.
Rematch today, I'm going to say one thing. Tis Right Time is 1 for 15 lifetime. Rebelde's got 6 wins. Even Man on the Moon's got a couple. Boy, 1 for 15, that's a little dicey to me.
Yeah, that's hard to take, but, they, you know.
They all got to win sometime.
That's it. Well, they're going to win twice sometime. Race 8, originally scheduled for the grass to be run on the Pita. Claim is 4 and up. Non-winners of 3 in life. 20 down to 16. Scratch the number 5, 6, and number 7. We got that late scratch of the number 5 in here. And I'll kick it off with the number 2, Buenissimo. Claimed in 4 of his last 5 races. So you know he's a popular gelding. Returns after a trio of solid performances going long on the Tapeta. Bill Theranos has claimed a couple of horses here, and all his horses that he claimed, they didn't win, have run exceptionally well. He had a winner just on Sunday evening. So I just think it's, and of course you're getting Arad Ortiz Jr. in the saddle today.
Yeah, Billy's done a really good job. He's done a good job, kind of patiently claiming horses, picking out the right ones, and Buenissimo, I think, is in a good spot here. Tactical speed, we're well drawn, and the other thing is, this is kind of the house horse. This is the Tapeta horse. Again, getting some turf horses, playing his game. Major player in here.
Love the work that Cheryl Weinberg does, and
Yeah.
she's got the number 7 in here.
And I just like Wicked Finn. Second off the layoff, stretching back out. Would I have preferred this on turf? Yes. But, Ron and I have talked about this. The horse actually has a win off the screen on an all-weather surface at Presque Isle. A very slow number against maidens, but still food for thought. And like you said, Cheryl Weinbaugh, one short sprinting on the dirt, one long routing on the Tapeta. A couple weeks back, the barn has done very well here.
Versatile. Number 1, Exponential, is stepping up to the next level after rallying to defeat those 22 lifetime claimers. Going a mile 70 on the Tapeta. Peter Walder, Louis Saez going for 2 in a row.
Yeah, it comes in off a win. It's never a bad thing. We're well drawn here. Might need a little pace help, though, up front today.
Okay, that's the 8 races. I keep looking for another one. We only have a very compact but a good card this afternoon. So let's get right to our lightning round. And as we like to do in the start of each and every week is check out the jockey and trainer standings. I believe we have the jockeys up first, and we do. Louis Saez, wow, 82. Until you see it in print, you don't realize it.
He's basically lapping the field. I mean, it's crazy how many up he is, and he just does it on a day in and day out basis, and he just rides everything. And I think that's a testament to his ability, but also his drive and his desire to just win races.
Yeah, and the guy's having a good week. Paco, Tyler, Junior Alvarado. Of course, Arad was not here for a month, so he's winning races. Jose Ortiz, similar situation. So let's see if Louis can break the record. I want to say it's 116, whatever it is for the season. It looks like he's going to have 160 by the time he gets done if he keeps going like this. Let's check out the trainers. It's kind of interesting in here. Todd Fletcher, Safi's got a lot of bullets in the holster, but Todd, boy, I think his money earnings is about $4 million or something.
It's wild because obviously Safi, blankets these races on a day in and day out basis, but Todd was pushing about 40% for the majority of the meet, and it's a battle right now. Mark Cassidy quietly up to third after what I think was a pretty slow start, and he's done a very good job of late.
And Antonio Senna, never count him out. He's always around with no matter what the surface is. And Jorge Delgado and a lot of guys underneath with 11 and 10 and 11. So Safi and Todd, I got to watch this till the end here. Todd's got some really nice horses in the barn. And Safi's got that, he's got a juggernaut. Let's put it that way. And on Thursday, the Eclipse Awards, the 51st Eclipse Awards, Thursday at Santa Anita Park. And there you see, presented by the Daily Racing Form and, of course, the Stronach Group. And one of my former co-hosts, Gabby Gaudet, will be there. And our current co-host, Acacia Courtney, who does a fantastic job, will be, handling that stuff out there.
Yeah, and I saw Acacia tweet. She's on the plane getting ready to head out there. So that's Thursday. And, I think we all think and feel Nick Skull will be crowned Horse of the Year.
He will.
He will. It's a statement of fact.
Yeah, I think so.
I wholeheartedly agree. So a lot of excitement out there, and we wish everybody the best. Connections and congratulations, Joe.
You got all my fingers crossed for Thursday's finale here on the turf. It's one of the best, my guesstimation. You could say I'm wrong. The best maiden special weight turf race of the meet thus far with just great horses in it. So I went back and I just found the stretch run of the horse that I put on top, Mose, and this one, of course, from Bill Mott's barn. And that horse on the lead, Blue Times, came back and won right here on the turf. And I just wanted to pick up one, and Bill's horse was closing stoutly. And I just thought with Blue Times flatted with the win here on the turf course that Bill's horse would run well.
I agree. I like that horse tomorrow, too. There's a lot of star power connections in that finale. Hopefully, we'll keep it on the turf. We do feel pretty strongly that the reign's done for today. That's a positive. Obviously, announcer Pete will be up in a second with the scratches and changes, and just keep an eye on the weather throughout the day. But knock on wood, I'd like to think we're going to upgrade that main track at some point.
Yeah, I think so, too. And finally, I just wanted to mention, we have our sister track, Laurel, going to get going. And this one is next Saturday, one of my favorite days, and that's the Winter Sprint Fest on Saturday, February 19th. 6 sprint races, of course. Got a couple of, the General George, the Barbara Fritchie, and that'll be Saturday. I think their first post is 12:25. Always a very fun day up there in Maryland.
A couple grade 3s, 250 on the line, and both the Fritchie for the gals and the General George for the boys going 7.
Well, that's how we see everything. As Brian just told you, I'm going to turn it over to Pete Aiello in just a couple of moments. I thought it was Acacia, but it is Brian. So we'll be back here for race number 1 in about 20 minutes or so.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place.
We back.
Northern Dancer, winner of the Florida Derby.
Yeah.
All the history, all these great horses, trainers, jockeys.
It is Barbaro to the final furlong. He is a neck in front. Barbaro wins!
It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
Sunday silence surges to the front.
First day, opening day of championship meet, I was kind of starstruck. You're watching LeBron James, and then next thing you know, you're playing basketball against him. That's how I felt when I'm riding with Donnie V, riding with Irad, Luis.
So many famous people come, Post Malone, Pharrell, J-Lo was there. It's epic.
The weather is beautiful. The facility is phenomenal.
It's all about Knicks Go. Knicks Go makes it 4 in a row.
It's one of the most beautiful tracks in the country, surrounded by some of the greatest horses and riders. It's amazing.
I'd always had a really deep love of animals. When I started riding, I felt that instant connection. It was this horse, Siren, that she was a thoroughbred, she'd been on the racetrack. It really shaped me growing up because I had to learn how to be confident, but I also had to be compassionate. And she really was that first love I had of a horse.